What is going on, everyone? We are here with another spotlight interview series. Y'all know the drill at this point. We're already at like 30 episodes. It's just crazy how many artists I've met and that you guys have met with me. And then this week, so we have another new artist. We have Cervon Campbell. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to be on here with you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking the time. I always just I'm so thankful for all the artists that just take time out of their days. I mean, because I know music sometimes for some artists is part-time right now, and some people it's full-time. So it's just always appreciate you taking the time to do this, and just for any artist to take the time to actually do this and get their story through music out there.
Yes, sir.
So kind of before we hop into all the questions, why don't you just let the people know a little bit about just who you are as a person, so we can kind of get a feel for who you are.
I am Cervon. I've been doing music for about 8 years. Who am I? I don't know. I'm a stand-up comic first. That's what I started with, and I think that's about it. I'm sometimes on occasion I'm funny. Sometimes I make a okay-ish song, and yeah, that's about it. That's me.
No, that's awesome, man. That's actually kind of cool. I did not actually even realize that you did like stand-up comedy and stuff like that. So it's actually kind of cool that you started with that, but then are kind of like working on the music stuff. And I was listening to a lot of your songs and stuff, and I'm definitely a big fan of some of the stuff that you have out there for sure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, of course. So kind of just hopping into the first question, everyone knows I always start with the basic of basics. Is just where did music kind of all start for you? How did you like kind of just get into like the whole singing, songwriting, and just like putting music out there? How did everything start for you?
Well, it all started with weird stuff like feelings. I was doing stand up because I deal a lot in my music with mental health and stuff like that. And me starting out with doing stand up, I was feeling down a lot of times, but like I could make people laugh, and it felt really good to make people laugh and to control the audience. And then I noticed that I still had like a lot of like feelings left over, like a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about. And I'm weird with therapy. I could never get myself into it. I tried once, but I just felt judged. So I wanted a way of like kind of putting stuff out there. And I started doing poetry, and that turned into songwriting, into just making my own stuff.
No, that I mean that's awesome, man, because I honestly I definitely relate to a lot of what you just said. And that's how I started getting into the whole music business and started writing and producing and stuff like that, because a lot of my fans and friends and family know is the first ever song I wrote was about my grandfather passing. He passed away unexpectedly a couple weeks after my 21st birthday in 2018, and it just took a hard toll on my whole family, and it was a difficult time, and I was lost for a while. And then to just kind of really put my emotions down on paper and just get that in there, because now years later having that song out and stuff like that, it's just what I've realized is to now that that song like is kind of out there and people know about it, it's happy for me, because if it can help someone else down the road, that's what my goal is for
Exactly.
that song, is to help someone else, and if it can help and stuff like that. So I definitely relate a lot to what you just said there, and just know that like I know mental health and stuff can be crazy, and it just I mean you definitely have a lot of fans, love and support, and you're killing it and you're being you, which is a big thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's that's all I really wanted to do. I feel like it's great when you have something, like if you feel a certain way and you find out other people do the same. As like if you listen to an artist all the time, you find out somebody else does, you just instantly click in with those people.
Mhm.
So I really wanted to be a part of that with emotions.
Yeah. No, 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 no. And trust me, that's like where a lot of my songwriting comes from, is like the emotions and just feelings and stuff. Like I honestly write some of my best songs when I'm in moods, like when I'm happy, when I'm sad and
Same.
stuff like that. And that's how a lot of my songwriting definitely comes together. But in the music business, like when you're writing and producing and like getting your songs up there, I mean, you're definitely kind of looking up to some artists, and
Mhm.
maybe even family wise. I don't know if people have inspired you to really pursue it more, and just who do you look up to, like if it's family wise, or if they're, or even just in the music business, like who are some of your inspirations that you look up to when you're creating music?
I know my number one is Childish Gambino, Donald Glover.
Yep.
That man, he was the reason I didn't start making music until I discovered him, and that just really threw me into it. He was a stand-up, I was a stand-up. He was acting and doing all this kind of stuff that I wanted to do, and I just saw myself in him a lot. And I just I've always just really been captivated by everything that God does. So I know like now, like if I ever feel like low or something like that, he's a big like recharge for me. If I just go through like a bunch of old stuff from him,
Mhm.
it recharges me. That is definitely my number one inspiration. And outside of that, it's like a lot of artists, like the Lumineers, Mumford and Son. I have like the wildest music taste. I listen to everything, so all over the place.
No, that's crazy because I'm like the same way. Like I mean, a lot of people knew I grew up on the country music and that's how I started was that late 90s, early 2000s. But like I go from listening to that kind of stuff to like Chris Daughtry and Nickelback and stuff like that. And then
Hmm.
like I'm listening to all kinds of like Juice World, Drake, like you
I'm
said.
glad you said Nickelback because so many people shit on Nickelback, and I just be like, yeah, they're bad. But in my mind, I'm like, but no, they're really not.
No, it's funny that you say that because the last interview that I had with Braden King, he was my most recent one, is we had a discussion about Nickelback during the interview. It's crazy because they did get a lot of negative stuff around them, but at the end of the day, they have a lot of really, really good songs in my at least
I
in my
never
opinion.
understood where that came from. It was just like they were dropping hit after hit. Like they have a great discography, and it's out of nowhere it was like, yo, we don't like Nickelback. And I was just I didn't get the memo on that at all.
No, exactly. And it's kind of like kind of going back to my interview with Braden King a little bit is like what he said is there can be so many people out there that have hate for Nickelback, but at the end of the day, if you hear Rockstar come on the radio or just anywhere, you're gonna sing along to
Mm,
it. There should be no hate with them because it doesn't matter. If you hear that song, you're gonna jam out to it because
exactly.
they had so many jams like that, and they're definitely one of my top, I would say top 10 favorite bands, for sure. And talking about good songs and good songwriting and how everything kind of comes about with emotions and stuff like that is artist creative process. I know for a lot of different artists, it can be completely different. Some people start with melodies, some people start with the words, and it just kind of all clicks. And one of my favorite quotes that I've learned from this interview series was with one of my good friends, Garrett Walker. The way he put it is it's like putting a puzzle together. You have all these pieces just kind of laid out, scrambled everywhere. You don't know how they're all going to fit. But then once you start putting those pieces together and you get like the whole puzzle, it's just then the whole
Mm.
masterpiece is there. So, with that kind of being said, what is your creative process like when it comes to getting a song together?
I 9 times out of 10, I start with the lyrics. I'll be writing while I'm driving, while I'm sitting here. I'll just be doing something. I might write like just one line or two lines, or sometimes the whole song, a verse or a hook, and then little by little I start piecing it together. I might say this line goes great with this other line I wrote, and I just really it's just that. And then when it comes to the music, I usually have a melody in mind by that point, so I just find something that kind of fits it a little bit, and then go in with like as many instruments as I can find. I'll rent a bunch of them and then just kind of piece it together. Like, what do I want the mood of this to be? Like, I try to imagine what I want, like if somebody's listening to it, what I want them to be doing, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
one of my favorite songs that I have is my song Broken People.
Yeah.
And when I made it, my mindset was like, this is a great song, just be driving at night to.
Mhm.
So like it's always I try to have something in mind. I don't want every song to be like, this is a great song to go cry to. This is a great song to go cry to. I kind of want to like change it up a little bit.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I get that. And because like that's how I kind of view songwriting. I mean, I only started a few years ago. Before that, I was kind of just like jotting things down and doing like poems and like just little things like that. But now, a few years into like the whole songwriting thing and collabing with some artists and stuff like that, it's the connection that you want to have with that audience,
Exactly.
with your fan base. And for new people that come to you, you want You just like through your song, it's like telling a story or reading a book. You want them from the beginning to the end to kind of like know what you want and how you want them to react, whether you want them to have a song that they can cry to at 2 a.m. or a song that they can be driving down the highway, music blasting, just having a good time singing to. So like it's just that's the biggest thing in the music business, I would say, when it comes to create the creative process, is really connecting with your fan base and kind of knowing what they want and just how you want them to take away from your music.
Exactly. It's always got to be some kind of like understanding and connection. I feel like a lot of artists, they make music and they're like, I'm doing this for me. I don't care about nobody else. But I feel like it has to be a middle ground there, because at first I was making a lot of sad songs, and I'll put out a project and it's nothing but sad songs. And I remember I was doing this show and I saw this girl crying, and I was like, yo, this is like, I was having fun. This is like one of my fun songs. What you crying for? And I thought about it, like, if I'm putting all of my sadness into a song and somebody's listening to it, and say I have that one person with bad taste who just only listens to my music all day, I'm like, I'm just really feeding this person negativity all day. So it's like, if that's all you're consuming, and that's where you're gonna be at. So if you're like, man, I'm only gonna listen to heartbreak songs by Juice World, then you're gonna turn into like a sad person. You're not gonna really be able to get out of that mood because you're just feeding that. So I had to kind of figure out another way. And if I know if I have like 5 sad songs, I need to have at least like 7 upbeat, positive stuff.
Right.
If that makes sense, gotta change it up a little bit.
No, exactly. And I totally get that, because that's how I was like when I first started songwriting. Like I said, the song I wrote about my grandfather that was sad. And then the next couple of songs I started writing were sad songs. And I'm like, dang, like I'm writing a lot of sad songs. I need to start kind of mixing it up a little bit and getting those
Mm-hmm.
like more high energy songs out there so people aren't just drawn into all the sadness that I have. And so I definitely relate to a lot of what you just said there.
Yeah, I don't want to keep nobody down.
No, exactly. No, we all need to smile every once in a while. I mean,
Exactly.
more than people do now, and it's just it's cool to just have that energy.
Yeah.
So, kind of getting into the next question. It's always the hardest question, and everyone always kind of like waits to see what the answers are, because some people freeze up on this question, and then some people already do know who they are. But I always tell artists it's okay not to know who you are if you don't know, because you might still be building your craft and kind of developing who you are as an artist. But with so many genres and so many new up and coming artists, especially with social media nowadays, with TikTok and Instagram and just any platform to get music out there, there's a lot of new upcoming artists and just artists in general. There's hundreds and thousands of artists in each genre. But at the end of the day, my question is what would you say makes you you compared to all these other artists out there?
I don't want to say it's because I'm vulnerable, because a lot of artists now, that's becoming a move where a lot of people are able to open up.
Mhm.
I think with me, people who listen to me, I feel like the one thing that I didn't figured out to do in my music is to give a good perspective. So the song D&D, that's a good example of where I really wanted the song to be words of affirmation. So if you're singing the song, you're saying positive things over yourself. So it's like I say, I'm not depressed. I'm not gonna have these thoughts anymore. So even though like at the time I was saying it, like I wrote that whole song like mid panic attack, but I was saying it just like, man, I might not be believing this, but I mean, if I keep saying it, I can force it. I don't know if you're familiar with the show BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
That show changed my life, and it's a quote on there where he's like, "You don't have to be happy, but as long as you keep pretending and faking it, then at some point you're gonna trick yourself into it." So I just really wanted to start making stuff where like, if you keep going along with it, if you keep listening to this, then maybe you'll actually like get trick the universe into making it true.
Yeah.
So I think that's who I am. I'm a good connector, I guess. At least I want to be.
No, right, for sure. And like I said, I listened to a lot of your stuff over the last week or two before this interview was happening. And I definitely connect with a lot of the songs that you have out there. And it's definitely like I'll be listening to them for a long, long time.
I
And
appreciate.
no, of course. And like um I just can't wait for more stuff to come from you. And like I'm excited. And that kind of leads into the last question before we actually hear the song you were just talking about, DND. My question is what are your goals as an artist? I know you kind of like we've talked about it a little bit during the interview, but like where do you want to go with your music and just what else can we expect from you down the road?
Um, I feel like it's so cliche to say I want to help people, but I really just want to find a way that I can keep helping people. Everything I do, I try to do it to benefit somebody else. Like, it sounds pretentious. Like my royalties, I don't keep none of my royalties. I donate it all. I done found a ton of great organizations like NAME and just different places that are doing like really tremendous things for mental health, and not even just mental health. It's a lot of big problems like homelessness.
Yeah.
That's a big thing that I'm working on. Like a lot of my shows and a lot of things like merch. I don't keep none of the profits. It goes into this idea of getting like I have this like a apartment building, and I really want to make it where it's like people can stay there for free for a certain amount of time and kind of help people get on their feet.
Mhm.
I'm trying a lot of different things because I think a lot about like legacy and like how other people look at me and what I can bring to the table.
Mhm.
And I really want to be able to like change the course of somebody. Try to I don't know. I hearing myself and I just sound like man, shut up. But I don't know. I just want to find a way where I can help people. I guess yeah, that's where I'm going. That's what I want to try to do. Kind of master that.
No, and that's awesome. That honestly, I mean, I've done 30 different episodes and I've talked to 30 different artists from all kinds of genres. And honestly, that's probably one of the better answers that I've actually had in a long time from doing all these interviews because I really connect with that. Because at the end of the day, with my music and just who I am as a person, is if I can go out of my way to make someone else happy and make sure that someone else is okay, like that's what makes me happy and that's what I find pride and joy in as well. So I definitely relate to a lot of what you just said there, and I just appreciate you saying all that stuff and just the support that you give to a lot of these charities and stuff like that. Like I didn't realize that a lot of the like some of your like when you get money and stuff from royalties from putting songs out there on Spotify, if I can even speak today, that you donated that stuff. I had no idea. And that's just really cool to me. And that warms my heart a bit because we need a lot of better people in this world like you. And that's really cool.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of people who just need like the smallest things. Like you can give somebody a compliment and that can change the whole trajectory of their life or day, anything. So any little thing I want to try to do.
No, and that's awesome, man. I mean, you're definitely, like I said, with all your songs, you're definitely killing it out there. And I definitely support all the movements that you're doing and stuff like that. And I just can't wait to see what bigger things come for you, honestly. I'm excited and I'm on it for the ride with you.
I appreciate it. I really do.
No, of course. And that's kind of concludes all my questions and kind of getting into the fun part of the interview is listening to a song from you so my audience can kind of see what you're all about. Before I play a little bit of D&D, why don't you just give us a little background if you don't mind kind of how the song kind of came about?
I wrote the song at 3 a.m. one night. I woke up, I was having a panic attack, and I was just it's a lot of my songs sound like I'm putting all of my thoughts and everything into it, but this is like one song that I genuinely am, and I wrote it. I made a demo of it, and I was playing around with it, sitting on it for a little bit, and I randomly just got a comment on my page from John Oats of Hall and Oates, and he like just randomly blew up my notifications, and I was like confused. I thought it was a fan page at first, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't know what I said John Oats wise, but like I appreciate it. And I went to his page and I was like, this fan page got a lot of traction. They got a blue check and everything. What's going on? So then I was like, this ain't the real him. So I went to Google and Google showed his Instagram page and I went on it and then went straight to that page. And I was like, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but the first thing I said was, son of a bitch. John Oats. So like he commented, like right before I had Googled it, he commented, I really like this song. And when I found out it was him, I was like trying to like shit. I was like, I like that song so much, you should do a song with me. And he was like, okay. And he DM'd me his email. And I was like, God damn. So I sent him, I wanted to send him a clean song. And at that point, now I don't really cuss a lot in my music because I realized I had a really young fan base. Mm-hmm. So I sent him the cleanest song I had. And the only bad word it had in it was like the N word at the end of it. And I was like, one N word ain't gonna stop this. Let's hope for the best. And I sent him that one, and he sent me some stuff back, and I was like, now I have a song with John Oats. So that is D&D. Do not disturb. A lot of people don't know.
No, that's awesome, man. Because like when I was kind of going through your page and stuff when we first started talking, and then I think you posted like a little clip of him. He must have been doing an interview or something on kind of how he found you. I think he was talking a little bit about that, which is just really cool. I mean, to have a collab with someone like that, I mean, a lot. Like, I mean, if you don't know who Hall and Oates are, just go look them up, and should be disappointed if you don't know who they are.
And it's crazy. Everybody knows their music. They might not know them or the name, but you know their music. And I don't know. I still fan out when I talk to him. Like I have to talk to him slow, like, yes, sir. Because I try my best to like keep cool. Yeah.
And no, exactly. No, that can be overwhelming for sure. And it's just cool because like he's a big staple in the music business. So just to have a song with him and to be able to connect with him and stuff, because a lot of people don't know in the music business, it's hard. Like it's a grind. And one of the biggest things in the music business is to make those connections. And to have a connection like that is just, it's something that you'll probably definitely cherish for a long time. And it's just something
that you'll do.
Yeah. And that you'll be super proud of it. And it's just cool. And this is definitely one of my more favorite songs from you, for sure. And I just can't wait to let people take a listen to this.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for it and grateful for him. Every time I see him or think of him or I'm around him, I just really want to know how much money this man has on his account because I know it's a number I have never had. Yeah.
No, for sure. So kind of without further ado, let's just take a quick little sneak peek to D&D.
Another night, I'm in bed, I'm sleep deprived. WebMD says I'm about to die, and I'm just here waiting. I fall but pretend to fly. I learned to accept the heights. It makes for softer blows from the lows. My mama says speak life, so I say I'm not depressed. I won't ever have these thoughts again. I'm better alone. The dark won't be home. I know that I'll be okay. I know that I'll be okay. Through the night, I get these thoughts and I lose my mind. Everything speeds up and slows down. I know.
So that's a little bit of D&D by Cervon Campbell and the one and only John Oats. It's such a good song, man. Like I'm definitely a fan of the lyrics behind it and just the whole production that came around to it. And like I said, you're definitely have a lot of potential and just your music is really cool. And like I said, I definitely connect a lot to a lot of the songs that you have written for sure.
I really appreciate it.
No, of course, man. And I just appreciate you taking the time to kind of do this interview. Before I give my little closing speech here, where can a lot of people find you on social medias? Like, what are you most active on? And just where can we find a lot of your music and what you're doing?
Everything you look up, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, music stores is Cervon Campbell. Um, Instagram is Sex Monkey Limo Driver. I really wish it was Cervon Campbell or something else, but yeah, it is Sex Monkey Limo Driver on Instagram. And yeah, that's it.
No, awesome, man. I mean, just kind of for people that don't know, I'll give you a little bit of spelling just for because I know it can sometimes people are probably trying to type it all in and figure it all out, but
Yeah.
it's Cervon and then Campbell. Pretty self-explanatory. I definitely recommend that people go check him out because he has a lot of cool things out there. Definitely the one that we just heard, DND, and I'm definitely a big fan of Broken People as well. And just for Cervon, man, I appreciate you taking the time to do this and just come on for the
Yes,
interview
sir.
and having you a part of the series. So thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem. Anytime. Really glad to be on.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for people to hear your interview. And that just kind of concludes another episode of the Spotlight series. Y'all know the drill. Every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, you can catch a new artist on. It's crazy that we've already been up to 30 episodes, and I just can't wait to bring out more music for you guys. So just stay tuned, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.